Welcome back to the world of photography. Welcome back to the world of Photoshop. And today, I'm very pleased to be showing you how I edit, or how you should edit, or how I personally edit my beauty shots. And here I have a photo of one of our beautiful friend here, and her makeup was done with her friend rather, by her makeup artist. You can see it's a raw photo. This is a raw photo taken with Canon EOS R. Here my settings are ISO 125. I used a 135 lens. This one you can see on my table here at f5 with shutter speed of 125 per second. How do you call it? 1/125 seconds here. So it's a raw photo, as you can see. It has a lot of details, everything here. So as usual, I'm going to start by using my preset, my normal preset that I created, which is this one, and I open it and it does all my magic. Is it my magic? Yeah, it's my magic, of course, because I'm the one who created it, of course. So my presets might not be right, so what I do, I come and do some little adjustment, maybe add exposure a little bit with my normal add shadows, reduce blacks, add texture, add vibrance, texture, clarity, the haze, and add some sharpening. That's how I edit my photos. So if maybe you want to see more of my work, you can check me on Instagram. I'll put a link to my Instagram. It's Kinsgraphy. So you can check it. Maybe we can learn together. And if you have any suggestion, you have a comment you want to add, kindly drop it down there. I'll be so happy to share anything with you or anything from you. So after I've done my adjustment, I'll click enter. So to open my photo, and now this is my photo. So normally at first thing what I do, I copy my layer, I crop to Instagram size, which is 4:5 for Instagram. Here it is. So I'll crop in this manner until here this is okay for Instagram, and enter very fast. So in my editing, I use several actions. I have several actions that I use. These actions help me to reduce the amount of work that I use maybe in editing. So first, what I start with whitening eyes. You can see eyes are a little bit yellowish, dark. Also on the other side, dark yellowish with some veins. You can see my camera is so tough. For those who are using Canon EOS R, you know it. Also, I whiten her teeth. What her tooth. Yeah. So I have an action already here. I'll just run it. Then I reduce my opacity to 70%. I pick my brush tool, then I come and brush in here. So these actions that I'm using, I got them from other photographers. If you want, you can check them. I put a link down there. They're not hard also to create, but maybe one day I'll help you to create an action of how to whiten. But also I have some other action that I created by myself that I use. So I don't depend on other people's action that much. But before using other people's action, know how to create it. So I'll clean up like this. You see her teeth. Her tooth. Yeah. Now her eyes are, at least there's a difference. So before and after, when I zoom this much, before and after. When I come down here also, before and after. Maybe I can add on opacity just a little bit to 80. So up there, that's okay, before and after. So after I have cleaned, after I've whitened her teeth, I also enhance her eyebrows and her lips, the lipstick that was applied on her. I use an action. These are selective color saturation. You just click my action, and you can see my settings. Here my settings, my reds here, my cyan to -100. I come here to my yellows, to yellow to +100. My greens, my magenta to -100. I also do my cyan to +100. I come to my blues, I reduce my yellows. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky explaining that one, but you can just follow my settings. Maybe by finishing with white's not really, but magenta, yeah, to magenta to +100 also. So I'll reduce my opacity to somewhere where I'll be pleased with the colors, maybe to let's say 80%. Okay. Then I invert my mask, Control I. I use my brush. I shade here now. So I just enhance it. So you can see her lips now started glowing. So actually guys, these are I'm using shortcuts in editing to speed up my work. So after enhancing her lips and her eyes, I can just add a little bit opacity to maybe 85%. So you can see this is my before and after, So then after, I come and I soften her skin. I do a general softening. Also have an action whereby I just run the action. It will take some time, but you have to be patient. If you have a fast machine, to load with ease. Surface blur, I say okay. Then I come to next. Hypers, basically what Hypers does, it helps you in adding details in your photo. So if I reduce this one to, let's say, to 6, you can see I have no texture here. But if I add it to, let's say, 5, you can see how much texture I have in my skin. So maybe I can say up to 5, I'm okay with it. Then, actually, this is an action. I also got it from somewhere that helped me to speed up my work. So I reduce my opacity to something 80 and take my brush. Then I brush all over her skin. I avoid her eyeshadow, eyebrows, her eyeshadow, eyebrows, eyeshadows. I'll avoid this hair, this part here, the eyelash. So I'll speed up this one. So this, as you can see, while I'm brushing, I'm avoiding her eyes, and also I'm avoiding her lips also, and her teeth, her toothes. But I'm brushing just on her skin, just this way. This is my before and after. Nothing much has changed. I've just smoothened her skin. Before and after. Before, after. Then after, now I'll run my action. I'll use now my frequency separation, which will be maybe my last step, maybe the last step or the second last step, to even up her skin tone. And maybe when I times you do dodge and burn using my frequency separation action. So just run it. And for my frequency separation, these are my settings. My mixer settings, my weight to 80, load 30, mix 90, flow 100, just like that. So I'm going only to mix, I'll mix the shadows and mix only the highlights. I'm not going to move from the highlight to the shadows or shadows to the highlight. I'm only going to blend her skin tones to blend evenly entirely. So this will be a quick edit. So guys, as you can see, I'm only dealing with the highlights separate and my shadows, I'm dealing with them separate. I'm just brushing along. I'm just mixing between my skin tone, between the highlights and the shadows to blend them equally. So this video is for advanced editors, if I may call it, or advanced photographers. For beginners, kindly, I might create another video to show you how to create the action and how to use it, and actually frequency separation. Yeah. So I just mix well my shadows and my highlights to make my skin tones even. This is something that you should be very fast. Imagine you have multiple photos, and they all want you to use these techniques in editing. So you must be fast in using it. So guys, I'm done frequency separating. Do I call it frequency separating? Yeah, actually I was separating between the texture and my skin tones. So this is my final photo. As you can see, let me see. This is my before and after. Maybe I do some minimal changes here. It is just a little bit. Yeah. So my before, after. You can see how I have mixed up the skin tones. They look even. My before and after. So I'm going to use my high frequency layer to remove all her blemishes. So I use my clone stamp tool. So where I sample a layer by clicking Alt, click, sample and paste. So this process will take some time. So let me speed up this process. So as you can see, here's my photo that I've cleaned up. I removed all her blemishes, I can say, entirely, pimples, you can see, and now her face looks clean. Like this was my before. Though she doesn't have those big blemishes, big, how do you call them? Pimples. Yeah, she's pretty fine. I did this one. This was mine before and after. I'm going to go ahead and remove some further blemishes like this one. Yeah, up to there, I'm okay with this photo. So this is my before, generally my frequency separation, and after. Before and after, you can see. So to add on top, I can go back to my low frequency layer. Maybe I mix a little bit here. Mix this one. So mix here. So this is the before, after, and before, after, and frequency separation, before, after. Yeah, right. So the last step that I like to use is now I do my dodge and burn as to finish up this photo. So I also have an action to run. I just run my action over here, dodge and burn, and that is I come to my black and white layer. I reduce my reds to negative, somewhere negative 96, to a point where you're able to see your highlights and your shadows at the same time. So I'll start to burn the shadows. I reduce my flow to 5, and now I start burning my shadows using my brush. I already picked my brush tool. Now I'll do this. I'll just brush along my shadows, burn the shadows, do the highlight, right? So just like this, just gentle, I'm doing just a rough dodge and burn. I'm not doing in-depth dodge and burn, just to show you how I do my workflow, how my workflow goes here, right? Not that much, just a little. And now I come to my dodge and I burn, I dodge the highlights. My highlights, oh, these are my highlights, like this, for her cheeks, the side here, and to her forehead. So when I close my black and white layer, so it is before, after. Don't know if you can see this. This is before, after, before and after. So basically what I normally do after I finish dodging and burning, I come back to my frequency separation. I pick my mixer brush and I enhance where maybe my dodge and burn did not work properly. Just a little bit. I continue on mixing my shadows and my highlights to blend them equally. So generally before my frequency separation and dodge and burn, this is a before and after, before, after. So what I do as I finish, as I wind up, I create a new layer and I go to camera raw filter using the shortcuts Ctrl+Shift+A. I have a preset for skin tone. I click open and here are my skin tones. I do some minimal adjustments like this, and I come up with such skin tones. Maybe I can go ahead and boost my reds a bit, boost my blues just a bit. So guys, these are my before and after. Before my skin tones adjustment and after my skin tones. I don't do much skin tones. I do minimal skin tone balancing, and whereby I just popped my reds a little bit with maybe my orange somewhere there. Yeah, I'm fine with this one, before and after. Just a bit. Yeah. So my before and after, and this one before and after. So guys, thank you very much for tuning, and I'm hoping again we'll learn more from each other, and I'm hoping we'll create much content and I'll be able to share with you. Also guys, don't forget to follow me on my Instagram page as Crinsgraphy. Yeah, and also remember to subscribe and hit that just hit that subscribe button and share this video for others also to learn. Peace.